He did it. He really did it.
The technical analysis. The real problem is being in the trade and trusting your analysis. Let's make a couple $100 real quick. And we're just looking for what, 300? 200, something like that. As soon as I see $200, I'll take profit. All I'm looking for is $200. Can I have it? Can I have my $200? Alright, we'll close out the 200 manually then, since they won't just give it to me. All right, I cut this video thinking that it was going to be really long, so let's go ahead and get into like my entry. As you guys can see, I got in right here at 513.50. So let's go ahead and go over to this screen here and review that from Tuesday at 3:51 in the morning. So here we are at 3:51 in the morning. We get in at 55.13.50 right there. We get the little wick up, which is why you saw that negative like $100 or $200 or whatever the case was. But we pulled right back on down. We eventually fell, actually started falling fairly quickly until this pullback here. We got down to 55.10.50. That would have been $600. Unfortunately, I always get kicked out on a pullback, so then we're gonna go ahead and drop it down one more. We ended up getting $550 on this trade right here, and it only took when was that? It only took about 4 minutes, and then it started to pull back up, so we got out as soon as this wick started to pull back. Good morning, folks. Here we are back, and as you can see, we are still stuck where I said we would get stuck and start having pullbacks. Haven't quite crossed this 55.16 just yet. Still got all this room to the upside and all this room to the downside. We're going to see what happens at 8:30. More than likely, we'll finally be able to break through there, or we'll get a really hard rejection to the downside back down here. That would be, either one would be dope for me. And the next trade is only on TikTok, unfortunately, because I did it from my phone. I didn't get my last trade of the day live, but I did get my other trade. So I made 11,000 twice yesterday. And here it is. Excellent trade off of the floor at about 11 a.m. You'll be able to see the timestamp and everything on here. So you see it was yesterday.
7K.
11:10 in the morning is when I got in.
We're going to go ahead and protect to here.
Pause this for a second. I'm going to let myself obviously explain what happened in this trade. There's no reason for me to talk over myself. So just go ahead and watch this part.
That's about 7. We've seen 8. Can we get 10 before the pullback? Come on, 10.
So what I'm talking about the pullback, I'm talking about when we get to this line right here, there's going to be some resistance, and we're probably going to pull back to about this point right there. I'd like to get to $10,000 before this volume imbalance that you see on this little red line that's cutting through the candle. Let's go ahead and continue.
Let's go ahead and protect 8.
You're always going to see me protect profits.
Come on, stay up. Give me 10,000.
And how I'm protecting profits is I'm just putting my line right below the wick of the previous candle, or the candle that just started. And then if we pull back into that wick, usually it's just below the previous candle's end.
10,000's right there. If we blow through my take profit, that is 15. There's 11. There's 12.
Pause there. Now, why is this $15,000 and why is this my take profit area? Well, because we fell through the floor, and this blue line that's underneath my red line that's making it purple is the floor, right? And I know that when we get back to the floor, what used to be support forms a resistance. So once we hit this line, we're going to get resisted again, and it's going to get pushed back down. So that's why I had my take profit there. I probably should have put it about a click shorter than that line, but I was fine with taking it right there.
Come on, 13. All right, so we'll move up to right here to protect there. Make sure that we get the...
So no matter what, I just wanted to protect my $10,000 flat, and that's where we're at right now. And when I start seeing us pulling back a full dollar, I always get out. If I pull back $1 and I'm in a great trade like this, I'm going to take the profits.
The 10,000, we're going to take the 10,000. We took 11.
And beautifully, it spiked up right as I went to close, so I ended up getting $11,137. And then the cool part is in this video, I'm actually going to add more to it and show that I was correct to get out right now. Stock and understanding your stock, okay? You see where I got in right here. You see where I got out up here. Notice that when I got out, the price indeed fell quite a bit to this equal level right here, right? Before pushing back up right back to my level. So I'm often right to get out when I get out because the overall move is going to be much, much longer. My play took 4 minutes. In 4 minutes, I made $10,000. Had I stayed in my play thinking that, okay, it might go higher, indeed, it will eventually. And now you can see the blue line, and as you can see, we didn't quite touch it. So had I been like a click below, obviously, and stayed in this play, we would have hit my take profit. I would have got about $14,500. But hey, listen, I'll take a $10,000 trade that's guaranteed versus a $14,000 trade that might happen. You go higher, right? Or it could fall crazy low. So what I did, and we did exactly what I said in the latter portion of that. We fell crazy low. We fall another $30 just after this play. Let me see if I can go back to yesterday. Actually, of course I can go back to yesterday. Refresh this. Go 15 minutes. My trade ended at just after 11. So right here, this was my trade to the upside. After my trade ended at 11:30, we fell another $36 and then some later in the afternoon as the market closed. We fell a little bit further, but we fell another $36. So I was 100% correct in getting out right here. I was in the pullback. Okay, there was not a change of direction. I was just inside of the pullback. All right, so here we are now, right? Well, let's go back to the 15-minute time frame, and let's go back to when we had a range, right? Remember our range. We struggled to reach the top of it. We got as high as we could. We got even with this one right here, and we got dead even with this one right here, right? So once we struggled to reach that high from, what day is this? Monday. We went ahead and pushed lower once we finally broke through the floor. Like, we saw the fall coming, we fell. When we finally broke through that blue line, guess what? That became your new resistance. It was support. It was holding us up right here. We fell below it. Now it's holding us down. So we pushed all the way down even further. So now we have a new range. Go ahead and grab your line, and you're going to just do the same thing that you did before. Put it about right there. And then move this one up a little bit so that it's even with it. Boom. So now you got your new range. And we'll see if we push back up into this area here. But the 1 minute time frame is right there, just below, just above the middle of it. So I see us pushing back down a little bit more, considering all these are red over here. Without even looking at it, what confirms our range is the 5 minute 200 EMA. 5 minute 200 EMA. Just up here above the line. So the goal is to run to the 5 minute 200 EMA, which will put us back inside of the old range with a new low. So we're going to see if we can get up there. Took our trade to the upside, got our, took our trade to the upside, got our good trade. That was almost $10. Literally 25 cents off $10, but still pretty great. Hey, listen, your boy told you it was gonna fall down. I hope y'all rode that play. So we already knew what the play was. I told y'all we was at that ceiling, right? This is your resistance. You're always gonna wick above the resistance. So we got above the resistance for a few candles, started coming down towards the end, right? So I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? 27 contracts, $11,000, $2,700 risk. Ooh, and we blew through it with no problem. All right, so like you were seeing, let's go back to the 1 minute. So on the 1 minute time frame, we wicked through my range for about 4 minutes, right? And then we wicked through it on the top as well. But what's going to happen is what you're actually going to see is the 15 minute time frame is the most accurate representation. Like the 5 minute will show you bodies of a candle, like all the way up here and stuff like that. And they just went to the 5 minute 200 EMA. But in reality, on the 15 minute, all they did was wick up towards the 15 minute 200 EMA and then wick down past the area that I had before. So now we have a newer low that we can go to that we couldn't reach before, right? But I really like this range, and I feel that this is a very accurate representation of the current range that we're in. All right, real quick before I go, how do tester trades work, right? Tester trades are like, all right, you found the top of the zone. You're not 100% sure, but you're pretty sure you found the top of the zone, right? So you're going to go in something light with a very tight risk. So you're going in right here, 89, you're risking just to the top of that wick there. If you never come back to the top of this wick, on the next pullback, you can go in heavier. So now, pullback right here, this is the next pullback, I go in heavier. Boom. Next pullback, I can add a couple contracts. Boom, boom, boom. Next pullback, I can add a couple contracts. Then what's going to happen is once you hit this level here where we had drawn out, it's going to flush like a toilet. It's going to just flush. Everything's going to drain, right? And then it's going to go boom. And you can get in on the pullbacks again. Like you can continue to get in on the pullbacks. I actually sell on the pullbacks and reposition myself into the play on the next pullback. So I do miss out on a lot of money doing that, but it protects me against losing my profit, basically. It protects me against losing a large portion of my profit. Because if you look at this, 71 to 77, 2 contracts, that's $600. 10 contracts, that is a lot of money. Okay, so I try to never lose profit like that. What I do is I play these 200 EMAs. If I bounce on the 200 EMA and it's going back the other way, I'm out. When we get back below it, I'll re-enter, and it may be a later entry, and sure, I might not get as much money, but I'm still making money, and I'm doing it in a safer space when you think about it. And these are 1 minute candles, so it's not like I'm out for a long time. I'm just out until the pullback happens. When the pullback happens, it starts to push back the other way, I hop back in, I piggyback.